Welcome to all on the Be a Man series. In this talk show, we are going to talk and create a global voice to break the image which has been portrayed in media for years and years. We have created this talk show to find out and hear from the men that what and how they change, what really makes them to get a sense of a real be a man, and how these speakers are breaking those stereotypical concept and definition for being a man. So let's join hand together to welcome Mr. Bernard David. Mr. David is a very senior advocate and partner in a law firm in Belgium. He is recognized internationally. More about his work and international recognition we will hear from Mr. David, along with talking about his life and definition of being a man. So, welcome, Mr. David, on this platform.
Thank you. Thank you to you. And I'm very glad and honored to be on your platform today.
It is. It is a great joy to have you today. I'm really enthusiastic to hear from you. So let's start knowing about it, your early life and growing up, learning challenges and all.
Well, I would say that I was raised as an only child. I had no brothers and sisters, but I had cousins and my father, my mother had various brothers and sisters. My mother was from French nationality. My father was from Belgian nationality. So at that time, it was already considered a little bit unusual to have a couple of two different nationalities. Now it would be considered as normal. And
yes, it is very common.
You have many more couples with people from different culture, different continents, and I think that is a great progress, definitely. I had the chance to have parents who had a good understanding between themselves, so I'm not the child of a divorced couple. My parents were a little bit traditional in the sense that my father was also a lawyer, and he was working hard at that time. And my mother was taking care of the household and of myself. So I saw more my mother than my father. But I had still the chance to have a good understanding with my father, because when I finished my studies, I studied first high school, like many children. I did it in a Catholic school here in Belgium, because in Belgium we have a system, either Catholic or official, what we say. Here I was in a Catholic school, and then I went to the Catholic University of Leuven, a city in Belgium. As I didn't know, following my secondary school, what to do, well, I thought I will study law, because that is something I have always seen around me. I had my father was a lawyer, I had uncles lawyers, and so without too much imagination, I just followed. Then after my studies, we had at that time in Belgium still the military service, and Belgium, as you may know, we have three official languages: French, Dutch, and German for minority. And so in order to practice more my Dutch language, because I was raised in a French-speaking family with French-speaking studies, I chose to do my military service in a Dutch-speaking unit during 1 year, so to improve. And then after that, well, I went to the bar and started working and developed. And then after starting the bar, I thought myself, well, I should try to develop something new. And at that time, it was the end of the 70s. And I noticed that China was opening up.
Right.
You had a new policy in China, the for modernization, following the Cultural Revolution. China
Right.
was opening up to the outside world.
Right.
And I then thought, together with a friend, we should try to study a little bit the new laws and regulations enacted by China, especially concerning foreign trade.
Yeah.
You have to know that during the Cultural Revolution, many laws and regulations were suppressed.
Right.
Many law faculties were closed, courts were
Mm-hmm.
closed. So there was a renewal. And I thought naively, as a young lawyer, if I publish a book on
Right.
that, it will be one of the first, and all the multinational companies will come to me as a young lawyer. So we
Oh.
published a book, but they did not come. But
Uh-huh.
at least that was the beginning of the interest, my interest in Chinese law. So I
Mm-hmm.
developed two things. I developed my Belgian law practice,
Mm-hmm.
but then a Chinese law practice. And after a few years, we created in Belgium Belgian China Lawyers Association together with the National Bar Association, and I
Mm-hmm.
became the Secretary General of that.
Right.
We created Euro-China Lawyers Association also.
Oh.
And after a while, I had the chance and the opportunity to go for several months for the Belgian Ministry of Justice to China
Mm-hmm.
in order to study the functioning of the courts. And
Right.
then I made a report on that. And it was at an interesting time. It was in '87 at the time when all the legal system was opening up.
Right.
And it were very interesting discussions. Following that, I continued to develop. I became vice chairman of a Belgian Chinese Cultural Center.
Right.
In that capacity, I went in 1990 to China at the invitation of the Ministry of Culture and visited several artist places, several museums. And one of these artists I had the chance to meet was the daughter of Deng Xiaoping. Deng Xiaoping was the number one political person in China at that time. He had opened up China after '78. And
Right.
it was interesting because we spoke about art practice and on her table, her
Right.
work table, there was a picture, and a picture of her father at the seaside. And so I
Mm-hmm.
had the impression, just being in the workplace of that lady, to be inside of a family in some way.
Mm.
So that was quite interesting. And then I continued, had, thanks to that, the opportunity, thanks to the interest in China, to meet people I would never have met before. I had the
Right.
chance to travel in other countries.
Mm-hmm.
And in 1996, I was proposed to become chairman of the Belgian Chinese Chamber of Commerce, regrouping Belgian companies doing business with China and Chinese companies being in Belgium doing business with Belgium. And I was also involved in several European structures. So that is, in short, a little bit what I did, with also my Belgian practice developed with
Right.
foreign clients here in Belgium.
That's wonderful. And it seems like you got a lot of experience, a lot of exposure, not only nationally, but even internationally. You have developed and you became a pioneer in many ways to develop those bar association and all. And listening those, all your experiences, it's really making me to acquire great knowledge. So when we are talking about your early life and you bring about like how you grew up in intercultural, or I can say in kind of when you are talking about your parents were from two different uh, nationalities, which is nowadays definitely as common. So when you grew up in such kind of environment, how did you used to express like as a child your feelings? Because as you said, your mother was moreover like in traditional environment you grew up. So was it like you got more influenced by your father to like keep it mum yourself, or keep it like dormant your feelings, or as you said, you was more influenced by your mother to, so being like what way you used to express your feelings as the.
Well, I would say as an only child with a mother taking care of me, I was maybe closer to my mother, and I do not regret it. On the contrary, I would say. Uh, my parents were all, when I was born, I would say I was the son of older people, in the sense that my parents were already, my mother was 36, my father was 44. So you had many other parents having children younger. So that was also a little bit particular. But I would say, thanks to my mother, I had the chance to take interest in art and literature, for instance, where she was very keen on that, and meeting artists, meeting writers, and that was part of my childhood, and I'm very happy about that. But also thanks to my father, he had among his friends people very much interested in politics, and I remember many discussions on politics at that time, and you know, in the end of the 60s, 70s, there were many debates, the right, the left, all this was quite interesting. So it gave me, I would say, the push to be curious. My little philosophy, personal philosophy, is that we need to listen to others. We need to, we have always a lot to learn from others. I don't know everything, far from that. The fact that I was born in one specific country, in one specific part of the world, is one fact, but that doesn't mean that it is the best part, the only part. I'm always a little bit annoyed when I hear for some country, God bless my country. Okay, but why my country? He can bless all the other countries. So my country is not the elected country compared to others. That is why I would say I fully understand people who are proud of their country, and that is nice, but I don't like nationalism in the sense of exclusion of others. And I think you are also the best person to understand that, being at the crossroad of various culture, various parts of the world. I think the big challenge now is to fight against the idea that we should stay in our little place without contacts with the others, because the others are a danger. And the pandemic with the COVID sometimes can be a factor for that. When people say, well, for instance, we say, no, you cannot give a hand, you cannot shake hands because the virus. Okay, but symbolically, it can be also a way to say, oh, I stay by myself and I don't want social contacts. That is something we should avoid.
I think that you brought a really interesting topic when you are explaining about your experiences, the way you develop your curiosity, the way you develop this understanding by observing your mother, your those kind of behavior, being small child. You know, it's always definitely it's a long-lasting influence on our life, I believe. And you definitely bring a lot of other intercultural diversity, inclusiveness. These topics are also important, and that is why we are together today. You are sitting on different part, I'm sitting different, but we try to develop these meanings, we try to develop these concepts, which you know, we always hear these things as, but there is always we always create separately, right? But whereas on this platform, I'm trying to bring those people different like you, such a renowned person, such a You in your field, you are one of the pioneer. But when we talk about all these, it creates new meaning, it creates new sense. So in the same way, when we are talking about it, you explain about your influence of your family, of your mother, especially on your personality. So would you like to share some incident or story that made you really impacted on your life in terms of when we are talking about your mother influence on you?
Well, I would say that first of all, my parents didn't want me, so-called, to waste my time. When I was on a Saturday, at, at that time we still had courses on Saturday morning. And
Mm-hmm.
here in Europe, Saturday, Sunday are usually days where most of the people do not work.
Mm-hmm.
But at that time, were going to school on Saturday morning, but Saturday afternoon or Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
at the school year, during the school years, we were not working. And
Right.
so, but I saw my father was still working on weekends and so on. And they were telling me, well, you should do something. You should not be stay there and doing nothing. Uh,
Right.
and then that was a way, and I kept that in mind because now, well, I'm still trying to do something,
Mhm.
either by working and like you, like a certain number of people, we are also working on weekends because the things that you have no time to do during the week, you do it on weekend,
Yeah.
especially if you do something in addition to your daily work.
Yeah.
Um, but um, I tried also to that gave me also the sense of um, curiosity. Look at read a book, go to see an exhibition, go to see people, do something,
Right.
realize something. I think that is something important. And now with the years, I see that life is short.
Mm.
And for young people, it is important to have already something in mind. And
Mm.
I would say people have a lot of qualities,
Mm.
and young people can choose to develop one quality. Not everyone is done for business, is
Right.
good for business. Not everyone is good for writing, but you have something in you where you can be good at. Develop it.
Mm.
Try to be good at that, and you will feel good also inside of yourself.
It is. It is definitely inspiring and motivating the way you shared. Like we have a lot of qualities, and especially when we are talking about the youth or the young generation, but how they can focus or channelize their certain qualities in particular area which they want to see or develop themselves. So when we are talking all these things, and when you shared all those, your experiences and beautiful incidents that what the way one should see their weekend or one should plan their days or work, when we are all talking about these, what the way we can see or where you learned or took the meaning of being a man, or that kind of question or that kind of thing or concept you started developing, or how you find that.
Yeah. Well, I would say it gave me the sense of respect. And that
Hmm.
is something now which is very much debated, especially in a
Hmm.
relationship between men and women.
Yeah.
Um, Personally, I think respect is very important.
Yeah.
Respect, openness to towards the other. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I'm always angry at men who are disrespectful to women.
Hmm.
That is something which is I don't understand. And the fact that because a lady is a lady, you should think that you are superior to her. That is so
Hmm.
stupid.
Yeah.
And I must say, between you and me, that very often I prefer to work with ladies. but I may not say that too much because I will have men against me. But I would say that I appreciate with ladies the fact that they are going deeper to study cases, for instance. They are also very often more open-minded. Well, not everyone, and you have also many men open-minded, sure. But I would say these are characteristics I appreciate very much with ladies, and the fact to work with them is something personally I appreciate, I would say.
That's beautiful. And that's really, I think, very nice way, the way you presented your work, your life, and how you are really seeing those all genders in your life, how you're balancing those acts. But when we're talking about it, being in your present position in your life, you have experienced so much, you have worked in intercultural so much, you are successful, you have all the kind of definition if I would like to give. So what one message, if I ask you, would you like to give this younger generation to understand or to see what should be a man?
Well, I would say, first of all, be curious, as I said. Look around you. Don't stay where you are. Go, if you have the opportunity, visit other countries. If you don't have, go to internet and see what internet can offer you by knowing better other countries, other topics. Be open. Also be focused. Life is short. And also ask yourself, what can I do in my own practice to make the world around you better? Not everyone is president of the United States or of China or of a big country. But at your level, in your business, in your family life, how can I make it better? And that is important at a time now also when we are facing environmental problems, and I see, and that is a case of hope, that among the young generation is very much environmental conscious. That is something important. When you see very young people like Greta Thunberg, the young Swedish lady, well, being so active, I'm full of admiration at this age, when maybe at that time I was just playing at home. She's already at the United Nations making a speech, and for good reasons, I would say.
Yes, that's inspiring. Yeah, definitely.
So that let's avoid speeches of hate. Let's avoid speeches of exclusions, hate towards the other gender, hate towards the other religion, hate towards other cases. For instance, what happened recently, I think for me is interesting and nice, the fact that the Pope went to Iraq and went to see the Ayatollah Ali Sistani from the Shiites, and that the two men discussed peacefully and listening to each other. What a nice symbol.
That is true, definitely. It is peaceful symbol. It is a showing the hope for new generation, how they can see, how they can respect all each other very mutually, very nice way. Yeah.
Definitely, definitely. So these are reasons for hope, and I think also we need to avoid the speech that would be saying, well, the world is going to collapse, so just stay home, just don't do anything, and just wait. Yes, of course, if I stay in my bed from the morning until the evening, maybe there will be less pollution because of me, but I will not bring anything. And I will not feel good. So let's do something in the right way to try to improve the situation around you at your small level, at your small scale. But everyone doing something that have a great impact.
Yeah, definitely. That's beautiful, and that's really inspiring and motivating message. It encourages definitely be curious, as you said. It itself having a lot of curiosity and a lot of meaning in this world, and I think young generation will take it in the same way, the way you explain. So thank you so much, Mr. Witt. And it was such a great pleasure to be hearing from you, having you on this platform, to be a man creating your the voice, creating the change with you. I'm so glad to have you today.
Well, I thank you very much, and I must congratulate you for your initiative. You are the best example to show that you are doing something to improve the world by your initiative, and congratulations, and I wish you great success in all your enterprise.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. And once again, I congratulate you for your work, the recognition, the award, and the work you are doing internationally to create this better world, better society for self, for others. And thanks to all viewers for becoming a part of this process by listening and watching and joining us to create meaning for Be a Man. And see you in the next episode. Till then, keep creating a better self and better world. Bye bye.